Preppers are stupid. I'll just take what I need. I got the gear, I got the equipment, I got the training. Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard people actually say that. There are those out there that actually believe that. There are those out there that feel that they have enough gear, training, equipment, all that kind of stuff, that they don't need to prep, that they will just take from others. Reminds me of that one Doomsday Preppers video. Before I get into that though, hey everybody, I'm Michael with Asymmetrical Preparedness. Haven't done a video in a while. Kind of difficult, you know, I've been really busy and doing other things. And before I get into the video, I gotta mention Jace Medical for all your antibiotic needs and prescription meds. Great company, been working with them. I only talk about companies I firmly believe in. Check them out, links in the description below, coupon code asymmetrical10. They have a huge list of prescription medications you can get through them, prescribed by their doctors, so that you don't have to go through the system and all the issues that come along with that. And antibiotics are one of the most important things you can have as a prepper. Very important. These kind of things are important. You might have to use these kind of things, but the medical side of things, you probably will have to use them, more likely than this, and food, water, all the other preparedness things, you will definitely have to use, because you got to drink, you got to eat. But anyway, back to the video. I was talking about Doomsday Preppers. There's this one episode where there's this guy, very large guy. He was saying that he was an apex predator, and that's what he was doing. That was his plan, was to go take from others. Well, the funny thing is, there's a bunch of funny things, is the guy was an ex-felon, or is a felon, and he showed firearms. So he ended up back in jail because of that episode. But the firearms he was showing were things like shotguns, 22s, stuff like that. I'm sorry, those are good things to have, but they're not going to cut it if you think you're going to go out there and do anything of the sort, which I do not recommend, of course, morally and ethically, totally wrong. This is why we prep, so that we can take care of ourselves and maintain the moral high ground. Other things that were wrong with what he was saying, the biggest thing wrong with what he was saying is he lived in Lakewood, Washington. Lakewood, Washington is right outside the gates of Joint Base Lewis McChord, home of the 75th Ranger Regiment, and a lot of other military units. Sorry about that, going through the woods here. Okay, so that dude was definitely not anywhere close to the apex predator in his neck of the woods. All right? There's some things that are inherently wrong with this idea also of going and taking from others, aside from the moral, ethical reasons. That should be common sense, which we'll just call sense nowadays because it's not really that common anymore. Most people just believe what mainstream media feeds them, and that's all they know, and that's what they go with. So, you know, can't blame them necessarily, because that's all they've ever been exposed to. It's all they know. They haven't been exposed to the same stuff you and me have. But, so the things that are wrong with that is that in armed conflict, using this stuff, going to this kind of stuff, you will take casualties. Even if somebody like that starts off with 20, 30 people in their group, all highly trained, stuff like that, doesn't matter how well trained you are, you will still suffer casualties, injuries, and deaths. Even the most hardcore special operations units in the world still die. Sometimes they're even picked off by some farmer with an old rusty bolt-action rifle, just because he saw them first. You never know. Get training, yes, of course. Have the gear, be competent, yes, of course. That'll increase your chances of survival. in the moral, ethical side of things, not in the I'll take from others side of things. So, with that said, you will suffer casualties. So it'll be a war of attrition. You will lose people. And how will you replace those people? The people you replace them with will be less trained, less adequate, maybe less armed, maybe if you had battlefield pickups along the way and you were successful with getting yourselves gear, resupply, stuff like that, maybe you could be successful for a little while. Also, another thing is wrong with this picture is that they would never know necessarily whose house that is, whose homestead that is, what neighborhood they're going into, what kind of defenses that neighborhood has, what kind of groups that neighborhood has, what the capabilities of the dudes behind that door are. You don't know that. Calling yourself an apex predator is pretty dumb thing to do, because no matter how good you are, odds are there's somebody out there better than you. Even if you're former Delta, DevGru, MARSOC, anything like that, there are still going to be people out there that are better than you. So, please, if you're of this mindset, please stop. Please fix yourself. This is not the route you want to go. The best route to go with prepping is to prep. Prepare. Is it important to have all this tactical stuff? I feel it is. Oh, sorry, here I am going through the woods again. I feel it is. At least for some members of your group. Everybody is not of this mindset. Everybody is not of this physical capability to go out and do things like this. Tactical stuff is definitely not for everyone. I feel it is important for your mutual assistance group to have people that are capable, trained, equipped, physically, mentally capable of performing roles like this, combative roles. I feel it is very important. Just like you gotta have people in medical, you gotta have people that can cook, you gotta have people that can do the gardening, you gotta have people that will do the patrolling, you gotta have people that will do the hunting, the fishing, the trapping, the snaring, the foraging, because all that is part of the big picture. You can't just have a single faceted approach. You can't just have a garden and say you're good. You can't just have a couple animals and say you're good. You can't just have the preps in your house and say you're good. Get where I'm going with that? This is a big picture. It's why you have to have a group. I highly advocate having a group. I hear all the time how difficult it is to have a group. That is true. It is difficult to have a group, but there are ways you can go about doing it. Let's talk about that a little bit. Where can you meet potential group members, mutual assistance group members? Well, you can meet them in a lot of different places. Some of the best places I think to meet like-minded people are gun stores, shooting ranges, the prepper aisles of stores like Walmart, where the Augustin Farms freeze-dried stuff is, where the beans and rice is, the camping sections, sporting goods stores, and local homestead groups, survival groups, maybe medical training, anything that is prepper related that involves your community, maybe even farmers markets. I think that preppers need to be, we're always working towards the aspect of self-sufficiency, like homesteaders. If preppers, homesteaders, and those M guys that run around and all this kind of stuff all the time, doing the tactical stuff, if those three groups of people got together and worked together and formed communities, yeah, that is where you'd have the best chance of surviving a long-term event. So think about that when you're looking around for your group. In an urban setting, man, I I can't really speak to that much because I don't live in an urban setting. I live in a rural setting. I live close to a very small town. I live, you know, not too far from big towns also. I'm only, what, an hour and a half probably drive from Seattle, give or take. If I told you the exact time, you could pinpoint my location. I ain't gonna do that. OPSEC, you know. That's something I take very important, is OPSEC. But people take it too far, I believe. You gotta open up. You gotta let people in. If you don't ever let people in, you'll never have a group. I was very blessed too, about 12 years ago. Me and another guy, actually there's 3 people that hooked up, me and 2 other guys that hooked up online. One guy didn't work out. The 2 of us formed a group, mutual assistance group, that's lasted for 12 years now. It has grown, it has shrunk. People have moved out of state, a lot of people, because, you know, people that think like us don't really want to live in Washington State, which I get. But, you know, if we all leave, who's going to stay and fight? Some of us actually, some of the guys actually believe that, you know, if big things hit off, that this is a very likely place, location, where it will start. Don't know. I hope it doesn't, you know. I don't want to ever go to these things. I want to play with my little girl who's right there walking through the woods with me. I want to garden. I want to get in my Land Cruiser and go overlanding. I want to do all the fun things. That's why I've kind of slowed down in my prepping. I am pretty well prepared for food. I can take care of me, my family for a long, long time. I can provide for my entire mutual assistance group for a decent amount of time, just based off of food storage and water storage. So I'm in a good place. I'm not, you know, and I'm not saying I got everything. I'm not saying I got all my bases covered, because I have weak areas, just like everybody. Don't get down thinking about your weak areas all the time. Stay positive. Always be working to improve your weak areas though. It gets draining over time, continually thinking about this. So keep your head in the game. And it's difficult. My head's been out of the game for a while. Like I said, I just want to jump in my Land Cruiser and go overlanding with my family. Go up in the mountains, go camping, find epic camps, you know, film beautiful, serene footage, and do that kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun. This prepping thing is draining. I don't know if any of you watch, you know, the fear porn stuff. That's what sells. You know, honestly, I've told myself so many times, if I really want to make a go of this, if I really want to be successful doing this to provide well for my family, then I really need to go that route, because that's what y'all want. Whether, you know, maybe not every single person, but that's what the community wants. They want entertainment. They want to be scared. They want, oh no, this is going on today, you know, you got to buy this from me so you can survive the apocalypse coming tomorrow or whatever. I'm not like that. That's why I only talk about 2 companies. If you're still here watching this video, check out these links. Links in the description below. Jace Medical, I talked about them earlier in the video, and Condor Gear. Great quality tactical gear that just works. It's inexpensive. If you need stuff, check them out. Coupon code AP15. Links in the description below. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I hope that you are continuing prepping, not letting things get you down. It's a long fight, you know. We got to stay in it. We got to keep our minds sharp, our bodies sharp, and have the ability to do the things. I love you guys. Have a wonderful day, and blessings to you and yours.